action. So, here we are. Spawning on Polar Knights in the south position. The blue Terran player representing my insanity. None other than JackG. His opponent. To the north, the red Zerg from Team Acer. Nerchio. For those of you just joining us, this is the ESL Euro Series semi-final between My Insanity and Acer. Currently tied 2 points each. Scarlet and Nerchio getting a point for Acer. Stardust and Brain Freeze. Stardust and someone. That's really bad. I'm gonna double check this. I should know. It's gonna like hit me like a truck when I realize. Scarlet and JackG, of course. This is JackG's second game. He's the ace player. I forgot that. My bad. So yeah, this is now all on the line. Both of these two players have won a game for their team tonight. That's already their work done. One of them will become a hero for their team tonight because they will get their team into the finals of the Euro Pro Series. And the Euro Pro Series finals are a big deal because whoever wins that not only gets some money, and let's be honest here, for these teams, the money on the line for the Euro Pro Series isn't that significant. It's decent. It's a couple of team meals out or something like that, but it's not like they're winning $1 million. What they are winning though is the title of the best StarCraft 2 team in Europe. That's a pretty big honor. That is something that you put on your team website. You put in your sponsor proposals. Because by damn, that's the sort of thing people like. Goes in your Wikipedia page, and anything that goes there is definitely going to get read by 1 million people. Anyway though, this game so far. JackG opening up the same way he opened against Paranoid in the second series of tonight. With a Reaper opening. 1 gas there. I'd imagine that he's going to open with the same Reaper opening that he always does. And that consists of 2 Reapers, the second one queued up, into a factory, into some Hellion production, and then he goes for 2 Reapers and 4 Hellions. Nerchio, though, I have little doubt, has defended against that pressure multiple times, both online, offline, ladder, best of 3s, best of 5s, best of 1s, because it's a very common opening from Zerg. From Terran, rather, against Zerg. So therefore, I feel quite confident that we're not going to see a game won or lost with how that goes. What's more probable, though, is that Nerchio is going to lose some Zerglings. These Reapers are going to be a bit of a pain. And JackG's going to micro them effectively, as he's done every other game. He's also going to play so close to the line. And to be honest, JackG always does that with Reapers. He is so confident, I think is the underlying thing, that he has got the skill to not lose these Reapers unnecessarily. That he will wait until they have, like, sub 10 HP before pulling back, because he's like, I can deal with this. I can make this work. I know my skills are better than adequate to make this work. But regardless, this game's still looking fairly cool. Everything is going good at the moment. As expected, factory coming down, reactor there, so Hellion production will get started up. The second Reaper going to go join his buddy. Meanwhile, we've got over on Nerchio's side, things looking fairly solid for the time being. We've just got a couple of lings coming through. A couple of queens out, sitting at 3 queens, not 4, so he's able to hold off this for the moment. We'll need some more lings to defend. Interestingly though, from JackG, the starport is coming down behind this with a tech lab on it. And what that means is that JackG is in a position where he's going to be going in to most likely cloak Banshee with the tech lab coming down there. So a couple of Banshee getting over is a very harassment-focused build. It's not the same one that he did against Paranoid. Versus Paranoid in the earlier series, JackG opted to go for a 3rd CC very quickly off the back of this. Maybe because he felt more confident against Paranoid in his ability to harass with just that. However, against Nerchio, he clearly has... he clearly feels Nerchio is a higher caliber player, and therefore he's going to try and harass a bit heavier. He doesn't want Nerchio getting into the late game, where potentially he could be more of a threat. So Nerchio is already showing a lot of experience in dealing with this strategy. He suspects it's coming, and so builds a wall off. He has the queens there ready to complete it and block the holes, and therefore it's unlikely that this little push is going to make its way through into the natural base. With the spine as well, should be easy to defend. The Reapers, yes, can make it up into the main base and be a bit of a nuisance, but it's not the end of the world. What we don't see, though, is Nerchio getting anything together in order to defend against the Banshee, and that's because this is more unusual. It's not something that is often seen or often used. It's getting more common now, but most Zerg players decide, hey, a couple of Hellions, a couple of Reapers, I got this. So Nerchio starts up his lair, hasn't yet taken any worker losses. But that may not last. The Banshee is on its way across, Cloak is nearly completed, and the third CC is on its way down now from JackG. Nerchio though, his 1-1 upgrade's on the way. Speed is not done yet, it's worth noting. But for the time being, just a little pause. A scan did go down. Gonna go and take a look. Are there any spores? How many queens are there? Well, the queens are now moving forward. The Banshee hasn't yet come in, but these queens are taking a considerable amount of damage, and Transfuse goes down with Cloak. No Overseer in position. The lair is not yet finished, and that means there is no detection without those spores. A couple of spores are going to get started up. The Queen's moving forward, trying to chase down the Hellions. Some damage being done, but so many Zerglings already being roasted. The Banshee going to be able to clean out this last queen, and that's frustrating times for Nerchio. It'll leave him with only one. That's only half the number he needs to consistently inject. The Banshee going to continue on with more pressure. A lone Reaper tries to get a bit of damage done, but is unfortunately taken out. But now these two Banshee getting more and more kills racked up. A counterattack is on its way from Nerchio with a couple of Lings. A really smart play, because if your opponent has gone for these Hellions, these Reapers and these Banshee, he has not invested in much defense. For that, you can be certain. However, JackG is still pushing forward. He's going to start getting some drone kills. Two Banshee with one volley kill drones. That's the reason they're very potent. Overseer, of course, is now out, so he can start chasing them down in case they were to cloak. But all in all, this game has stabilized a bit. 5 workers killed, resources lost, Nerchio losing just over double that of what currently JackG has had taken down. The worker count, 53 to 47, it's fairly stable. JackG maybe a tad ahead at the moment, but that can quickly change. It's not by enough for it to actually make a difference to this game as of yet. But in come the Banshee. Again, if this harassment keeps up, it gets a lot more frustrating. Yes, the Banshee is starting to take more damage, but now 9 workers have been killed. This is starting to get frustrating for Nerchio and aggravating. But once his spy is done and he's got those Overseers out, well, that's really the end of this pressure. Numerized Carapace isn't done though, so the Overseers aren't as quick as the Mutalisks are as of yet, nor is it in production. The Banshee though, trying to get a little bit more damage done, just going to move in. A couple of drones get taken out there, but still 12 workers killed, that's fairly good. Cloaking as they retreat, just so they can sneak on out of there. Nerchio is unable to chase it down due to not having numerized carapace, and so the Overseer speed isn't as quick as the Mutas, so the Banshee can escape. Get a couple more kill here on some Lings, and just getting the odd Zergling kill may not seem a worthwhile use, but these Banshee are just chipping away at damage for free, and any damage you deal while not taking any is good damage. There's no other way of looking at it or thinking that, those two Banshee, they killed some stuff and didn't die. Not sure that was worth it. Unfortunately, the Mutalisks are going to make it worth it. They start chipping away. Things like that Spore Quarter going down is obviously a nice little boost, but the Overseer does signal the end of those two Banshee. There are still 2 more out on the field. One actually got away, so this is still frustrating. Quick little repair up while the SCVs are transferring, minimizing the disruption to mining time that JackG is going to take from that. Meanwhile, Nerchio, lots of Banelings morphing in, ready for a defensive position against the shove coming across the map at the moment from JackG. Both players sitting at 1-1. The Mutalisks attempting to snipe off any Widow Mines that they can find, but a couple of detonations go down. Massive detonation there on a lot of the Banelings. Very frustrating. Still a few more there, but JackG started stepping away to safety, trying to keep his medevac safe, has accepted that these Marines are going to die, so sacrifices them in order to save the gas. Usually a good choice. He also wants his medevac count to start getting higher. Meanwhile, Nerchio, he's got his lair done. He's getting Banelings, Mutalisks, and Zerglings, a very standard mid-game composition for Zerg up against Terran. And he's going to go on the offensive. He's got a good Muta count. It's up at 14. Those Mutalisks are going to be very effective. The concern is still going to be the Widow Mines. However, only 2 currently remain. And while 1 is left, it is a bit of a pain, but nothing that is not manageable. So Nerchio trying to find a nice angle of attack. A few Marines being left forward. 1 detonation goes down, picks off quite a few of those Lings, but Nerchio going on the aggressive. No repair goes down on the bunker in time that a lot of these Zerglings and these Mutalisks are going to be able to tear through SCV lines. problematic for JackG. The missile turrets helping force this back, and he's gonna survive. He's not taken too much damage yet, lost 7 workers though he hadn't before. And this now levels out the worker count, and also the base count. But that's in JackG's favour, because JackG has mules, and that's one thing Nerchio doesn't. Now, while this game keeps going on, there's things we need to be keeping an eye out for. Key upgrades, key game time indicators, such as Drilling Claws. Drilling Claws coming down indicates that JackG is preparing for the later game, where he's going to be more aggressive with the positioning of those Widow Mines. He wants them burrowed faster, so Nerchio can't snipe them. Things we're looking for from Nerchio, things like this 4th base that has just got started. When he gets his Infestation Pit down and his Hive down, for the late game compositions. This mid game can last varying amounts of times. Really, a Hive could get started anywhere as early as now, if not slightly earlier. It could get started in 25 minutes. Both are feasible. It's just when Nerchio feels the need to do that. For the moment, the Mutalisks are still poking and prodding around, just trying to find any way that they can actually get some damage done. An Overlord will die supply blocking Nerchio, which is a little bit annoying, but all in all, JackG just staying on top of things, defending nicely, hasn't taken critical losses, whereas Nerchio, he's falling behind in his upgrades. Actually, no, he's ahead in his upgrades currently, but he will fall behind, assuming 3-3 starts, because he hasn't got his Hive on its way yet. Other than that, still a very equal game. Neither player taking a substantial advantage as of yet, and that's actually good news for us as viewers, because it means that we are going to get into later stages. Both players are trying their utmost to get cost-effective trades at the moment. They're trying to pick off the odd key unit. Things like those medevacs going down there for Nerchio, it's a great snipe. Keeping this medevac count low massively reduces how effective the infantry is. At the same time that we see now a lot of Mutalisks on their way over, going to clean up this little drop. Not much damage done there, but that's opening up the southern position of the map for JackG to push back creep there. So every time one of these two moves to one position of the map, their opponent are going to be pressuring the other. A couple of Widow Mine hits will go down, reducing and thinning the number of Banelings and Mutalisks' health, but still a lot remains. Good splits coming through. Nerchio being very aggressive as it stands, but good retreating from JackG allows him to snipe off a lot of the Banelings. Big hits go down in the natural base, but unfortunately, there's a lot here for Nerchio. JackG looking to be in a bit of trouble. This 3rd base getting annihilated. A quick lift on the Orbital Command buys him a bit of time, but unfortunately, the Mutalisks are still there. They could be a threat. With the 2-2 upgrades done on both sides, the Banelings are able to get some nice connections, but it's the Mutalisks that take a lot of damage. The bunker falls, and with this, Nerchio has penetrated into the natural base. He's still going strong, pushing on through, picking off those medevacs. Definitely trading better than JackG at the moment, whose supply is starting to plummet. If Nerchio can keep this up, he's getting himself into an amazing spot. He's now 2 bases up on his opponent. If he's able to prevent mining from this 3rd longer, he's going to be getting further and further ahead, and that, I have no doubt, is what Nerchio is trying to achieve. He saw a great opportunity and capitalized upon it, and he's going to keep that going. He's picking up any damage he can, but JackG is frantically trying to re-establish this 3rd. It's essential that he does. He can't afford to leave Nerchio with that 4th base that he has already scouted and knows about, but by landing this, it gets taken out, and JackG will GG out. Nerchio 1-0 up in this best of 3 now, and is 1 game away from claiming victory for Acer.